Hoodwire TV.
This is episode 45 of the Madd Ronald Radio Podcast. And on this episode, Madd Ronald will be joined by co-host Vaheed. Vaheed will be asking Madd Ronald 10 questions. Madd Ronald will also be giving shouts out to all of the people that he was in prison with when he went to Georgia in 2020 and was convicted on the RICO Act. He will also be discussing the First Amendment because the fact that Vaheed will be asking questions and will be asking about the platform, and he will be sharing the right of the First Amendment and freedom of speech. We will also be having a discussion based upon the centralization of social media and the major monopolies that are taking place. We will also be discussing financial literacy, among many other things. So it's going to be an interesting episode. So just tune in and have fun. Just enjoy yourselves and just take in the information. www.hoodwire.tv. Stop by and visit us, become a member, check out our store.
All right, y'all, what's up? This is OG Madd Ronald. All right, y'all tuned in to OG Madd Ronald here. It is hoodwire.tv, y'all. And today I'm sitting here with Vaheed, man. You know what I'm saying? Take heed with Vaheed, man. And what we doing today, man, I'm gonna let him take the lead from here and be able to give us an understanding of what's taking place today here. Vaheed, the floor is yours.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. To be here, working with you, and put together these 10 questions upon your request, and definitely got a lot more to ask, man. But I imagine that so much is gonna come out of these 10, you're probably gonna answer a lot of them. Hopefully you end up answering them before I even ask them,
Well, I hope that I answer them in time, because I find a pleasure in seeking out the answer within myself.
Respect.
Yeah, so before we even get going, man, let me give a shout out to everybody back in Georgia, man. Everybody was in prison with me. Everybody that was in Upson County. My boy Munn, to Big Mac, to who else? The little Terry crazy ass, to who else? Man, everybody that was down there, all of my co-defendants that was down there, man. Everybody, man. Shout out to everybody that was down there with me. Shout out to everybody that was at Jackson. Shout out to all the homies down there. Shout out to everybody that was at Wilcox with me. Shout out to Big Red. Shout out to Beanie Man. Right. Shout out to Simba. Shout out to my partners down there. Shout out to everybody over at Hancock State Prison and everybody at Augusta TC also. Shout out to the Bloods, the Crips, the GDs, the Ghostface, the Goodfellas, everybody. Everybody was respectable and everybody looked out. Hey, man, it was all love, man. You know what I'm saying?
That was a wild ride, huh?
Hey, man, that was a trip.
Man, it's a better world with you back home, though. I tell you that much, man. That was too much, man.
Yeah, man. Ain't no creativity inside unless you find it in a book, man, or with a pencil or paper, writing, drawing, or something. You know what I mean?
Mm.
This is creativity, right? It's stimulating young minds.
Man. Yeah,
so you can start whenever you like. Hey, you can start whenever you like.
Yeah. So what does this create? What is creating this space and building this platform? You know what I'm saying? What does it mean to you?
Building a platform, creating space simply is something where it gives me the ability to have free speech. We live in a time right now, censorship, man. We live in a time right now, man, where you got to watch what you say. We live in a time where if you post something on certain social media platforms, they'll ban you from their platforms. They'll suspend your account. They'll do all kind of other stuff. We also live in a time where the centralization of social media is starting to become something that's recognizable too, because there are monopolies that are being formed within social media empires that control this stuff, i.e. Facebook, which owns Instagram and Meta. You know what I mean? Then you got Google owns YouTube, which is Google is the world's largest search engine, and YouTube is the second world's largest search engine. See what I'm saying? At the same time, also, there are monopolies being formed within the social media spectrum by way of these platforms also charging in order to allow a person to be able to reach so many followers, so many viewers, other than what they would allow. They're controlling it. So having a platform grants me the ability to be able to do what I want to do at my own availability, and to also be able to exercise my right of freedom of speech, because of the fact that that's what this is all about, man. When I went to prison, and I was in Georgia, and I was in the hole for 6 months, and I was sitting in the hole my first week. And the superintendent of the jail used to come talk to me. And the superintendent came and spoke to me. I had been there, I arrived like on Thursday, and the superintendent came and spoken to me on like that Monday. He said, "Hey man, you made the front page of the newspaper." I said, "Is that right?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "What they say about me?" I said, "Did they say how I was out there giving away 100 bags of food a month out there feeding people?" No.
That's right.
I said, "Did they say about how I was out there helping people get jobs and get off the streets and shit and this and this and this?" He said, "No." Did they say that I was involved in major peace negotiations and gang truces and this and this? He said, "No." I said, "Well, what did they say about me?" He said, "They said you can have a man killed with one phone call." That right there was something that told me that I have to take control of my own narrative and cannot allow anyone else to control my narrative. See, he who controls the narrative drives the story. It's the same way that when you're sitting in a courtroom, the district attorney and the prosecuting attorney, they're both telling the same story. They just tell it from two different sides. So whoever the strongest narrative is going to drive the strongest story. So the thing that I learned, and another experience I had was, I was in Upson County Jail in Georgia on this RICO Act, and after my 6 months in the hole, the sergeant, I had to go talk to the sergeant to get out of the hole.
Why they throw you in the hole?
As soon as I arrived, they put me in the hole, man. I was
straight off.
As soon as I got fingerprinted, as soon as they fingerprinted me, straight to the hole. I didn't know where I was. My first night there, I didn't even know what jail was like. They didn't want me around nobody. My biggest crime was influence.
Influence?
Influence. So that scares people because I enter the space, they don't know what kind of person I am. They think I'm crazy as ever. They think because the gang members here, they think they finna go lose their minds because they don't know from their perspective I'm a wild gang member. You know what I mean? Which in my mind, hey man, I'm 50-something years old. Some of these young dudes in here young enough to be my grandkids. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm here. You know what I mean? And the thing about me is I'm only who I am from where I'm from. I do have associations and ties. I do admit that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm not involved in no criminal activities. So when they came and got me, they made me seem like I was a major criminal. They wrote articles about me. When I got out of the hole, the captain in the jail, he sat down and talked with me. And the captain said, "Man, I know all about what you was doing out in the streets when you was working with the kids and doing the public speaking and this, but Georgia Bureau of Investigation Intelligence said that was all a front for recruiting gang members." See, once again, these are other people taking control of my narrative.
That's wicked, man.
So
because I witnessed you like that for real. I don't know if that was, I mean, not to cut you off, but that's the only way. That's the only way I know you, like for real. Like you really about that. You was, and you just work with at risk people. You know what I'm saying? You always tell everybody right, even the influence. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never told nobody to do nothing but take care of their family, get a job, get trained. You know. Own some real estate. You know what I'm saying?
Well, homie, let me tell you something, and I'm gonna be honest and truthfully real with you, man. As Black people, man, we got to think about empowering ourselves economically and financially. We got to think about the quality of life that we live in rather than the quantity of life. Because of the fact that we will take our life savings, man, and we'll go give it to Air Jordan, or we'll go give it to some crazy ass European designer, but we won't go buy no land. The most embarrassing thing one of the most embarrassing things, black people. This is black people. These are our people. I love black people, but this is an embarrassing situation. During COVID, man, they was giving away all that PPP money. I'm down south in Georgia, man. Dudes down there tell me how they getting money. Same way in LA, they tell me how they getting money. Dudes just tell me how they getting 200,000, all this bread they get, right? Man, I'm hearing about these dudes buying these cars. I'm hearing about all these clothes. I'm hearing about these women getting these BBLs, and the BBL costs $10,000. I'm hearing about these broke females getting BBLs going home to the projects. You see what I'm saying? But the heartbreaking thing with that is that out of all that money that went around, nobody bought no land. Nobody bought any land. PPP put us in position. They tested us. Man, we could have came together, man, and formed great conglomerations and really just bought up everything. We had the opportunity. When is the next time that we're going to have the opportunity when there will be one man by himself standing among us? They can say, hey, man, I got $40,000, even if it is PPP money. And then got another motherfucker standing next to him saying, I got 80,000. But I wasn't another man saying, hold up. My check coming today and I got 60 coming. Shit, let's go buy something up. See, this is the way we need to think, because economically we got to think toward the future. We got to think forward, not backwards. We can't think in the space that we're in because in this economy that we live in, inflation is going up every day. So if we think in one space, we're automatically going to be automatically consumed and dominated by the inflation. So we got to think ahead of this. Thinking ahead of this is also having an understanding of what the economical liberation of financial literacy provides. But that's what we lack, because of the fact that one thing about financial literacy that's interesting is the fact that when it comes to understanding money and managing money, that's power. And I always say this, and I keep saying this here, that I love Martin Luther King. I love Malcolm X. Martin Luther King told us about civil rights. Malcolm X told us about human rights, but nobody told us about financial literacy. Never had there been a nation of people that did not have wealth, that did not have rights. Money comes with rights, don't it?
Sure.
So if we ourselves would have been thinking in that means in that way and putting something together to the point where we ourselves can see the world economically and we can sustain and we can get back to the dreams that the old people had, or rather the elders, when they came like to places like California, when they left the South, and we can get back into the family dream of multi-generational wealth and that passing down real estate, maybe we can get somewhere. But it's hard right now because of the fact that financial literacy is so important that, I mean, it just is, man. I was in Georgia, and I'm just looking at all the land.
Man.
I'm amazed. See, this is me. And now I'm going to tell you something about me. And this is me, my conversation with gang members, right? In the past. And I had this conversation. I tell everyone, it's about buying the real estate. That's what it's about. Don't die for the street sign. Buy the street corner. We fighting over a street sign. We fighting over a sign that a person put on here with a number on it that identifies this corner. But we ain't fighting over the real estate that the corner sits on. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
We ain't fighting on the home that sits on the corner right here where the sign sits at. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, though, from my perspective of things and the way that I say it is that we ourselves we need to economically evolve. We need to take our ideology, our understandings. We need to start studying. We need to teach the kids. We need to learn money. Everybody talk about everything, and everybody talk about what the world is and how the world is and the depression of the world and the oppression of the world. And man, the world is a lot better if you got money in your pocket. I don't give a damn what your circumstance is. I guarantee you that you would rather get into it with your girlfriend and storm off down the street and jump in your car with $100,000 in the bank, driving off in a Mercedes Benz or something flies over, than you would rather feel if you and her get into it and you stop off down the street and got to wait for a bus. Money to solve all your problems, man. You know what I mean? As a people, economically, we got to come to understand that. But back to Georgia, though. My thing with Georgia was the fact that I learned a lot because of the fact that there were things said about me in the press and things like that there. I understand the RICO Act, because the RICO Act, they don't make a RICO Act for punks. So the way that it was designed, you know what I'm saying, this RICO Act was something They had to make me look like I was just the motherfucker. You know what I mean? But that was it. So it was interesting, you know. Now, all in all, the platform itself, the development of the platform, that right there is just my voice and me being able to give a voice to others that are creative and have the motivation to be able to say, okay, boom, let me do something too, because I want my voice to be heard too, because of the fact that it never hurts to be productive and constructive.
That's right. That's powerful, brother. I get it. And how did you get to this place? Like, how did this mental, you know, especially coming from the at-risk community and then navigating the prison systems in Georgia like that, like, and you always had the same mind state, but how did you first arrive to this mind state that you've always represented, and also how did you maintain it through persecution and oppression, if you will?
Man, I've been doing time since I was a kid.
Okay, so you was in California as well.
I've been in prison 6 times. I've been in prison 6 times. I've been in prison, man. I've been doing times. I've been in some crazy ass places.
Visit our website at www.hoodwire.tv. And while you're over there, take the opportunity to visit our store. Check out our merchandise. We have Madd Ronald Radio podcast merch. Also, we have hoodwire.tv merch, just as well as West Adams merch. At the same time, while you're there, also take the opportunity to become a member. That way you will never be left out, and you'll always be able to get the content as soon as it comes out. Some content will be exclusively just to the community of Hoodwire Social. So y'all go on over there, y'all support the content, purchase the merch. www.hoodwire.tv, www.hoodwireradio.